Hi everyone, my name is Elise Daina and today I am here to discuss about DNA in living organism and its importance. Have you ever been curious about how is your organism or your cells are able to do the things it does without you having to do anything? So first, we start with the yeast structure. DNA has a double yeast structure that help not only for replication but also as a scan for correction of errors and removal of damage in the organism. 2, it is made of nucleotides. Those nucleotides are composed of sugar, the phosphate group, and the nitrogen base. The nitrogen base, which are composed of the adenosine, the cytosine, the thymine, and the guanine. It is also a polymer, which could be broken down into many monomers. Here we have now briefly talked about the structure of DNA. Let's dive into why DNA is said to be the hereditary material that carry the genetic information. DNA is said to be that because first, it is the central control of organism. When I say central control, that means it's the main block where everything starts before going to the other cells of our body. Second, because it helps us to be more similar than different. It brings more similarity than different in the world. It helps us to have other spaces, many different spaces through DNA, through the replication and the transition. Third, because it passes the genetic information from parents to their offspring through the process of fecundation or overbirth. One parent will give his gene and the other parent will give his own gene, his own genetic information, and both of them will combine to give a new genetic information which will be passing along and along. Now we have talked about why it is said to be the hereditary material that carried genetic information. Now let's go to the importance of DNA in ourselves and also in science. First, in our cells, it helps in building protein, which are essential for our growth. Secondly, it is responsible for growth, development, and maintenance of our cells. We have many cells in our body, so it helps with the process. And for science, it helps in experiencing, in breaking the mystery of our surrounding, helping in answering many questions. Before we couldn't have known what is into ourselves, but now we are able to know based on science, based on many experiences that are being conducted, based on how scientists figure out how DNA is able to work. Our main point here was to present the importance and the structure of DNA and to understand how it works. So, we are more similar than we are different. That's why sometimes they will say, I saw someone who looks like you. Why you don't know the person from anywhere? The person is not even one of your related. It's not your relative, it's not your family member, it's not your uncle, it's nobody. All of that is because of DNA. I thank you very much for listening. I thank you very much for taking your time and taking your time to understand what I had to say. And also, one thing I wanted to say is that for us to have DNA, it's not by choice. It doesn't matter what career you're doing. It doesn't matter if you are interested, if you are curious about how it works. It doesn't matter on your career, on your major or whatever. It doesn't matter. That is how you grow. That is what makes you who you are. That is what brings your uniqueness. DNA is everything. For that, I thank you. See you next time.